I'm Ryan.
And I'm Steve, and this is 60 Cycle Hum, the guitar buying, selling, trading, modding, fixing, breaking, reviewing, playing podcast.
First ad.
Yeah.
Let's slam right into it. What do we got here, Steve?
This is a reverse supersonic. It was sent to us by Tobias Johnson. This ad says, this is a beautiful Squire Supersonic in blue sparkle from 1997, 1998. But chances are, if you're looking at this, you already know all about it. The guitar just had a setup. It's currently set up to play right-handed, but that's easily reversible thanks to the modifications made. Shipping is an estimate. Message me for details.
So what's crazy about the Supersonic is that it's already like a reverse shape. It's a guitar that looks like a left-handed guitar, but it's set up to play as a right-handed guitar.
You're right.
So this person took a guitar that looks left-handed but made to play right-handed, and they just swapped it around to be left-handed. But that entails routing out wood from the body to put a second control plate. They had to cut a new pickguard for it, which has revealed just how funky the body shape actually is because that control plate fits, and they're really weird.
Yeah.
But it's not so weird that I'd tell people to stay away from this. Like, this looks fun to me. I've always wanted a Supersonic. And flipping it around to be reversed, I want a left-handed Supersonic for me to reverse to be a right-handed Supersonic.
The one problem with this is he says it's reversible, but the only way it's reversible is you have to like you have to like keep that like secondary control plate.
You swap plates because there's two plates on there now, which is buck wild when you sit and really think about it.
It kind of looks like
control plates.
It kind of looks like a kind of a tooth, or
yeah, it looks like walrus teeth.
A starfish.
Yeah, it looks like legs coming off.
It looks like the, I forgot what they're called, but they were like the ninjas in Super Mario Brothers 2.
Yeah,
those little black ninjas.
Yeah,
that's what it kind of looks like. Only it's white with silver legs.
Seriously though,
go play Nintendo, kids.
Fender, come out with a reverse Supersonic body.
Oh my gosh,
and make it right-handed, and I'll super be interested.
This actually, so the reverse Supersonic body looks pretty good.
It kind of does, right?
Like, I'm trying to process it, what this would look like as right-handed, because
I always have trouble
transposing left-handed bodies.
It just needs a little help with the control plate area as it connects to the pick guard.
Well, I mean, if it was a proper, I'm saying if this was a true left-handed model, then it wouldn't be this super insane pick guard. It would be the regular right-handed pick guard, but left-handed.
Exactly. I mean, one of the things that has kept me from buying Supersonics in the past is that I just don't like reverse headstocks too. And so this like fixes the reverse headstock as well.
Did not think about that.
But then it's kind of funny because as you hold it, the Squire logo is going to be upside down, which I'm kind of in love with that thought too.
Yeah.
Having an upside down logo on a headstock is pretty funny to me.
Do you have any idea what these are actually going for right now?
I feel like 809s probably be fair.
Really?
I think they've hit a bit of a collector's peak.
Do you think $800 is fair in this condition?
No.
Okay.
It should be $1,200.
Oh my gosh. Because you're getting double the guitars. You're getting a right-handed guitar that can be swapped to a left-handed guitar so easily. So easily that he'll do it for free. Oh, if he's going to do it for free, then
he will do it for free.
Maybe it's
I'm eBaying Squire Supersonic. Oh, we got routing templates.
Oh boy. This is the part of the show where Ryan looks things up on the internet.
I don't see any popping up on the eBay.
Interesting.
What's the name? There's some like a guy that has become a collector of these, and he uses them for his professional performances. I can't remember his name. Someone say it in the comments section somewhere
on the Facebook page.
Let's see if I can look at completed listings.
I mean, you probably can.
One sold. It says $1,000.
Yeah,
for a white one.
That sounds high to me.
I see one that ended asking for $1,100, and another one that sold for $1,100. The Pawn Shop series, which is a more recent one sold for $800.
But the Pawn Shop series ones were already like around that price anyway, weren't they?
Yeah. I was thinking about buying one of the Pawn Shop series ones. That's what I remember. which is a slightly different design. They moved the switch up to the top horn. It looks like, or maybe this person changed it probably. Yes, because the other ones have the switch on the top horn. He changed it for this reversal here.
This funky new pickguard.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
What do you think, Steve? Have you ever looked at these? You ever been interested in a supersonic?
I'm interested in them just so far as like being part of the Venus series more broadly, but they've never been like a guitar I've chased, and it's kind of interesting to see how the prices on them have like gone through the roof, because this was another one of these guitars that when I first started getting into guitar, 15-ish years ago, they were like 200, 250.
You could get them cheap. Not anymore. Yeah. This and like the Cyclone 3, the one with the Jaguar pickups in it. Those are the ones that kind of got away from me, and I wish I'd pulled the trigger when they came out. I feel like
the Cyclone 3 is really hard to find, but that the prices on it are still not.
Yeah, it's not like I'm buying like a vintage Fender thing.
But I'm saying it's like I don't think it has the collector's flair. I think that one's.
I think it was just a rare model. They didn't come out with a lot of those.
They only ran it for a couple years, I think.
Yeah. And, no, I think they only ran it 1 year.
Was it 1 year?
Something crazy like that. It was like a one-off.
Yeah.
And it came in 2 colors, I think, blue and red, and it had the 3 Jaguar pickups in it, and it was just
the Cyclone 3,
such a sweet little guitar.
The Cyclone 3 was also a Fender, right?
Oh yeah, it was a Fender.
But I'm saying like whereas the Supersonic is a Squier,
right,
originally until they did the pawn shop,
the Vista series stuff. Yeah.
So the Cyclone 3 was part of the series with.
It's weird to think that there's such a collector's market for these Squiers now. You know? It's an interesting time.
Well, it's both at its Squier and it's Squier Japan.
Yeah. Well, Vista series like just hit the market hard. People loved it. It was like the first time I saw, at least in my guitar playing life, that people were like, "Oh man, these cheap guitars are actually pretty good."
I'm not going to look this up. Maybe someone on the show, one of the listeners will look this up. I don't really want to dwell too long on this, but was the Venus effectively like? Oh, I guess Mary Ford.
Where's this going?
Is that who I'm thinking of? Mary Ford?
I don't know. What in relation to what?
Who was the first woman to have a signature model guitar?
Oh, I don't know.
Because in my head, I can't think of anything before the Squier Venus. Which was the Courtney Love signature. Effectively,
right. I'm sure there had to be something.
Yeah,
and if there wasn't, it's just because signature instruments weren't a huge deal. I sound like I'm minimizing the effect of the patriarchy here, guys.
No,
I just feel like there must have been a signature guitar for a female.
Well, it's like I just don't know when because obviously more recently artists who are older than Courtney Love have had them. So like Joan Jett has had the signature Les Paul. Other. Actually, I guess she's the main one I can think of. I'm sure maybe Jackson has done some stuff, but I don't know. Like I said, I don't want to super get into it. It's just a thing I thought of.
Sure.
If you guys want to talk about it in the comments, that'd be cool.
Tell us what we don't know.
Yeah,
I'd
love to learn. Educate me.
We love to learn here on 60 Cycle. We're
to learn. Education is fundamental.
What's new?
What is new, Ryan?
I got a box cutter here. Should we cut a box?
Yeah. We going to do that first? While Ryan's cutting this box open, the person who sent this guitar is also the person who allowed us to purchase this beer. This is from Maine Beer Company. I picked this up at a local shop. This is called Another One. As in, India Pale Ale? Oh, well, here's another one.
You want to say who the person is, Steve?
Yeah, the person is Grant Wilson from Big Ear Pedals.
Big Ear Pedals, not Big Ear NYC. They rebranded.
Yeah,
no
they
big
rebranded
deal.
a while ago.
It look like you're
going to Nate Bernecker yourself on that thing, man.
I know. I'm about to slice myself wide open.
That is not a direction of
cutting towards myself.
And the way things are going, man, today, I think your wife's just going to let you bleed out. And I'm just gonna point and laugh.
I kind of know what this is, but I kind of don't know.
Oh wow, look at it's packing material. What's in here? This looks like original bridge. Here's the original bridge, Ryan. Oh, it's one of these bridges. I don't know. This is great listening.
Everyone's gonna love this.
This is like good YouTube and really bad podcast. But
so this is a Goldfinch guitar. Grant has befriended the guy from Goldfinch, and he's been wanting to send me one of these.
Oh, cool.
That's kind of buck wild, right?
Yeah.
Wild shape. He put this Tunematic on here. Originally, it has that Tysco style bridge there.
Right.
The strings impact the edge of the little ashtray cover thing here.
That's interesting.
It's really lightweight. Apparently, the guy behind this Goldfinch company, he just has a huge boner for like vintage guitars, like not just the appearance, because there's a lot of like companies that make vintage style guitars now, but he's into like the hardware and the feel of like old Tyscos and Ks and harmonies and stuff like that. So he tries to go funky and he tries to go back to that like hardware feel. Let me try it. I'm not going to try to play across all the strings. Just play one thing and see what the action feels like.
It plays nice. It feels good. Especially for just flying, 2,500 miles.
Yeah, it actually doesn't feel bad. It's got binding on the neck. It's super, super lightweight.
Yeah, the weight reminds me of the flyweight from B.A. Ferguson.
Grant
guitar.
made it sound like the action was going to be bad from that new bridge, but I don't know. I feel like it's pretty low.
Yeah. I think that's like a pretty typical action for you. I would probably set it up a little lower, or prefer to have it set up
maybe
a little
he was
lower.
talking the pickup needs to come up. Because the pickup's pretty low.
The pickup is pretty low too.
So I might have to do some surgery on this to get the pickup higher.
You don't have anywhere to put this thing, dude.
I know. I'm running out of space in here, and I just ordered a guitar like last night. I'm drowning in guitars over here. It's a bad problem. I need to sell some stuff. Or just let Super Rich Steve take care of some things. So yeah, I'll have to do some video of that in the near future here. Another funky shape on my wall, apparently.
Yeah, that thing looks like it's going to be a ton of fun to play around with.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to have to church it. I wonder what that single pickup sounds like. It's just one single coil in there.
It's in like one of your spots.
It is.
That is not a bridge pickup. It is not a middle pickup. It's a bridge pickup.
It's a bridge pickup. It's just floating out there in the middle.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's like my YFB, like our old band, like punk band.
What do you think of this beer, man?
What's that?
What do you think of this beer?
It's definitely an IPA. It's like that sticky.
I know you're not an
sweet,
IPA guy,
like Christmas tree thing going on.
Which is why I didn't go for like a straight IPA.
But it's interesting. I've never tasted one that was quite like that before.
Yeah.
Like I'm not quite sure how to describe it. It tastes like a cleaning chemical, but in like in a fun way, you know?
Right.
If that makes any sense.
Jeez. Just makes you sound like a crazy person.
You have anything new, Steve?
Well, I'm getting this guy from you. If you guys haven't checked it out,
it's not for me. It's from both of us.
Well, it's for us. I actually did the legwork on getting this set up, but this is the FXT1 from was it FX Tears?
FX Tears
pedal board. This is a ultra compact pedal board. The reason that I want it is because I use the music area backpack all the time, and this actually Ryan sent me a picture a while ago of this guy like fitting perfectly in one.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna set up a little baseboard in here. I need to get an ultra compact power supply to put underneath, but I'm really looking forward to putting together a little baseboard because right now I just pull out my my fuzz. And like plug it in and I go, oh, okay. But I'd rather just like whip out a whole thing.
Yeah. It's convenient to have a little platform where like all the cables are put together and it's powered and everything like that.
So this will be.
I mean, you could throw a fuzz on there, throw a tuner on there. I'm gonna let you borrow that Nux Solid Studio.
I think I can fit like 4 pedals on here.
Oh, easily. You're gonna get 4 pedals.
I probably won't put a tuner on there. We'll see. We'll see what I do. We'll see what happens.
Put a tuner on there. Don't be cocky.
Just use a headstock tuner, man. All right, you got anything else? You want to talk about this trip you're going on or no?
Oh man, I'm going back to TGU. I'm going back to Toman. I didn't know if I had permission to talk about it last time we recorded, but I've known for a while. I think I'm barely made the cut to get invited this year because I think I got invited way later than
I don't
everyone
know, man.
else.
You're number 1 on the list.
That's because it's numerical alphabetical order. 16 Cycle Hum just floats to the top because we've got a number in our name. Everyone else has cool names like Patrick Hunter.
Oh, is Patrick going?
Yeah, he's going.
I didn't see who. Like, I looked at the list, but I didn't memorize it.
Pete Thorne's going.
Yeah,
I haven't ever.
we have the
I
list.
haven't hung out with him.
We have the list here: 60 Cycle Hum, Adam Neely, Agufish, BaseTheWorld.com, China Guitar Skeptic, CS Guitars, that's Colin Scott, right?
That's
CS
Colin
Guitars.
Scott.
Flip a Q, Gear Gods, German Music Reviews, Guitar Max, J Leonard J, Jamie Lewis, Kiffer Okayon. Mary Spender's going.
Mary Spender's going back. The internet's Mary Spender.
Nathan Navarro, Patrick Hunter, Paul David, Paul
Cottrell.
Davids, Pete Cottrell, Pete Thorne, Philip McKnight, produced like a pro. Samurai Guitars. I watched a couple of his videos today.
He's got good content.
Spectre Sound Studios.
That's Glenn Fricker.
Steve from Boston, The Bass Channel, The Guitar Geek, and The Tone King.
The Tone King is going to be there. The
So
king
that'll be
of
cool.
tone.
Then a bunch of these guys I know were from there last year. You met
Yeah.
before, but a lot of these guys are going to be new.
Yeah,
too,
a couple new
so.
ones. Tone King and Pete Thorne.
You gotta-
and Philip
you-
McKnight weren't there last
You
year.
got to do a
Samurai Guitarist wasn't
a
there.
Theory Thursday style thing with Adam Neely.
Oh man, he's too smart for me.
I know, that's why you
I
have to
can't-
do it.
It would just be me following him around as he walks around talking to the camera, and just be like, I don't understand what he's saying. I'm also excited about a bunch of the sponsors. Boss is going to be there, which means I get to hang out with Boss's Matt Knight. He's not associated or affiliated with anything else as far as I know. He just works for Boss, so it'll be fun to hang out with
Boss.
that guy.
Yeah.
The Boss. Dan Electro is sponsoring. Eventide, Fender, Gibson, Harley Benton, of course. Hosa, Hughes and Kettner, Ibanez, Isotope. By the way, guys, Isotope was there last year, and they hooked me up with their RX plugins.
Yeah.
I use that crap all the time to save so much audio, to take out the chewing and the burping and the slurping that Steve and I do here. I'll do a little test and remove that with some Isotope. Hopefully I remember to do that. Laney, Line 6, Presonus, PRS, Rev, Strandberg, Vox, Yamaha, Zoom. I've been thinking I need to figure out if this the Zoom people that handle like the recording side of stuff, or if it's like going to be the guitar effects. I'm assuming guitar effects.
Probably both.
I've been thinking about taking my Zoom 2100 with me just to sit down with like a Zoom person and be like, check this out. Here's a piece of history. Because that was like my first multi-effect I ever messed around with.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. The 20-year-old multi-effect pedal that I'm still hanging on to for some reason. Also, I mentioned that I got the Helix Stomp a few weeks back.
Mm-hmm.
They hooked me up with that so that I could use it at TGU
Yeah.
for direct recording. I'm putting together a board where it's going to be battery powered, which is awesome. And I'll have a few other pedals on there and be able to do like my field recording and on the fly recording on the floor of Toman to make all the content I want to make. So I'm excited. I'm going to be leaving in a week and a half as of this demo of this episode.
Right.
So it's coming up quick.
Geez, I didn't think I realized it was coming up that fast.
Yeah, it's coming up fast. I'm getting pumped. I'm getting all my gear together. First topic, Steve, or do you want to do sponsors?
Let's do a sponsor. This week's first sponsor.
Let's make
we
that
didn't
money.
grab anything. We always forget to grab stuff, but I'll let you do it. This week's first sponsor is Chase Bliss Audio.
Well, I'm not going to grab anything right now because the thing that I would normally grab is on my board right now because I've been using it.
You have other Chase Bliss
I know,
pedals,
but I
right?
want to talk about the
All right.
Condor.
Let's talk about the Condor.
Like, I think we've mentioned it a bunch in these sponsorship spots, but I've been using it live, and it is just a magic little box. It is like one of those preamp pedals that just, it makes you sound gooder. You know? I left it on.
That's what you really need.
Always on this last Sunday when I was at church. And every time I turned it off, it was like, I don't need this song. I was like, oh man, I really needed it. I kept turning it back on. It just does something magical to your signal. It just warms it up. It just makes you sound better. It's really easy to adjust.
You ever use it as an auto wah?
It doesn't do auto wah because it's not envelope sensing. But you can set it to be like a modulation that's doing a wah sound back and forth. And you can attach a expression pedal to make wah sounds with it. The way I'm explaining using it just as a preamp is such like a scratching the surface thing to
Right.
do with it, because it can do everything.
Well, it does all of
It's
the things that
insane.
like every Chase Bliss pedal does, which is give you like full control over all of the knobs.
Every Chase Bliss pedal is also a chorus. If you like,
Oh my god, that's not what I meant.
If you mess around with it long enough.
I mean, that might be accurate though. I
It's
definitely
pretty
know,
accurate.
I definitely know that Tonal Recall. Sometimes I was like, oh, I just turned this into a chorus. How do I stop that?
But it's like, yeah, it can be a preamp, obviously, EQ control. It can be a drive pedal. It can be a modulation. It can be a wah. Like, it just keeps going, the crazy stuff they can do. It can be a tremolo. It's wild how much the Condor does. So go check out the Condor. I don't have it with me because it's on my board locked up in another room right now.
There we go.
Yeah.
All right. This first topic is 5 different topics.
It's not 5 different topics. It's one topic supported by 5 different pieces of evidence. I'm going to call this topic Joe Bonamassa is a troll.
Yeah.
Because that's my case against Joe Bonamassa.
So basically, do you think... Okay, so we've talked about Joe Bonamassa on this show before. We frequently call him other things like Joe Bonamoso and
I realized,
Joe Bananarama. And
I realized today that I don't actually know how to actually spell his name.
which is problematic because I don't really edit your captions anymore.
I was trying to find these articles where he has like these hot take quotes that blow up the internet. I was like, I don't think I'm actually spelling his name right. I need to look how to spell his name.
All right, here's what I want.
Okay.
I want to go see, because I think the visual is the best part. I want to go see a cover band, a blues cover band in Hillcrest called Joe Bonamaster.
Bonamaster. For those that don't know, Hillcrest is our like LGBTQ part of town in San Diego.
I mean, these days, all of San Diego is
Boners
the LGBT.
Boners can be cis male and
They can be.
Cis-sexual.
They can be.
Is that the way to describe it?
They could be anything, but
Yeah.
I feel like that is the application where it would be the best.
It'd probably get the biggest audience.
Anyway, this first quote. So the thing with Joe Bonamassa is he always has like a quote. And even if he's actually right, like most of the time, if you read the entire article, you're like, oh, he's kind of right.
Right.
But-
I mean, well, the articles
always-
themselves are like tame and rational.
But there's always
then
some opening statement. So
I
this
think
one,
it's intentional. I think like I think he comes up with the hot quote first, where he's like, I'm gonna come out and say that people who play pedals are lazy, and then I'm gonna come up with a really like subdued, like rational article to just wrap around it, because my theory is that because these things come out like almost regularly. It seems like they come out like every 2 or 3 months.
Yeah.
I think he's on a media schedule where he's like, I got to keep like a new article in the news
I wish we
to
had-
like get people to keep looking me up. And these
literally there was one in February and there was another one like a week ago. So that's like
And
exactly 3 months
the
apart.
Music Radar articles
Yeah.
all have links to his albums and stuff like that.
Right.
They're advertisements.
Oh, there was also one. So there's October 2018, February 2019, May 2019. So that's pretty close to being on that 3 to 4 month schedule.
He's on a schedule with these. I think it's intentional. I think he's intentionally coming out with these hot take, like articles to do a marketing thing.
Yeah. Which one of these? Do we want to read all of them?
Yeah, let's go through them all.
All right. So the first one that you've got listed here.
We don't need
is,
to do them in detail, but we can riff on them.
I'll just read some of them are just a single quote. So this first one is pedal users are fucking lazy, says Joe Bonamassa. This next one is, and then he goes on to say like, well, if you're spending all your time like, tweaking pedals and whatever, like you are trying to chase like that perfect tone. Well, you could have just invested all that time in like actually learning how to play, which
Right. But he's also in that one, to be fair. I mean, I feel like we're giving him too much of a benefit of a doubt starting out. To be fair, he was digging at people who are like noise musicians
Right.
and like ambient musicians and stuff like that. People who aren't doing, electric guitar into hot amp blues rock,
Yeah.
So he was taking a bit of a dig.
The one back in February was Joe Bonamassa thinks you don't need a lot of money for great sound. Says Paul Reed Smith is just another corporate guy now. Which isn't even what he actually says about Paul Reed Smith. What he actually said. Okay, so what he actually says about Paul
Like
Reed's,
the article is basically him saying what everyone else has been saying for years. Like, oh, you can sound really good with like an affordable guitar
Yeah.
and like a Hot Rod Deluxe.
yeah,
Like, yeah, Joe, we all know that. You're the one who needs to realize that because you're the one with $500,000 vintage Les Pauls and Dumbles and things like that. We all know that a Hot Rod Deluxe sounds just fine because that's what we can literally afford.
but it's so funny because the thing makes it sound like it's going to be Joe versus Paul Reed Smith. But what he basically says is what Paul himself has said, which is he says, I mean, even Taylor and PRS are, quote, the man now, where Paul used to be the messiah for the boutique crowd. Now he's just another corporate guy because he isn't in his garage anymore. And Paul has said the same thing. Yeah, like, paraphrasing what I've seen him say in interviews is basically, yeah, I used to make this stuff in my garage and people and it was like a one-man thing. Now I make them like in a shop.
yeah.
They're still made to the same standards. They're still
Probably
super
better
high
standards.
Yeah, they're still super high quality.
I mean, talking to
But-
Bob Taylor, he's like, yeah, stuff is better now that I
Yeah.
have other people building it for me.
So, and in this one, he the thing is when you read like the full thing, it even seems like he has a sense of humor about himself because he's
Sure.
like,
I think he
oh
does.
yeah, I don't think you need a big pedal board to sound good. Coming from the guy, of course, this is coming from the guy who owns Dumbles.
Right.
The one most recently was when did the electric guitar become such a pariah? Which the whole thing is like, oh, don't wear in-ears, just crank it.
The problem I had with that article is that he's literally just spending the whole article trashing on sound people.
Right.
And my stance has always been, those are the people you need to be nice to. Like, don't freaking piss off the sound people. They'll mute you.
Yeah.
Don't be an asshole. Don't you want your signal to come through? That
I also
night?
wonder like how many venues exist where when you walk in, like the first thing that happens is the sound guy's like, oh, here's your ears, dog.
Yeah.
Like, is that a thing?
No, it's not. Not for people playing at our level, anyways. And that's the other thing is like the assumption of the article is that people are being forced to use in-ears. I use in-ears at church. It's my choice. I could request a wedge if I wanted to.
I don't think I could request a wedge.
Sure.
I mean,
it's
maybe
different-
I could.
It's different.
I wouldn't even want, like, I've gotten so used to in-ears that
Yeah.
like I wouldn't even want to.
I mean, and
That's just me.
he's making a point that's going to be very attractive to, for lack of a better term, old timers
Yeah.
that want to be purists and want to be like, oh, back in my day we had full stack Marshalls and we could feel the wind off our amps and stuff like that, and are pining for that experience and
Right.
nostalgic for that experience. I get it. I love being in a room with my amp turned all the way up too. It feels amazing. But it's like, I can't do that every week. I can't do that every month. I wouldn't be able to hear anymore. That's like special treat only.
Yeah. So this kind of spins off of his whole like diss on boutique guitars. Is he says the worst thing you can do after buying the headline, the worst thing you can do after buying a guitar you love. Actually, he says this. This was an interview with John Bollinger, is he Premier Guitar?
I don't know.
I think he's the guy from Premier Guitar, but he says if you purchase a new guitar, the worst thing you can do is he says if you like the guitar or like the worst thing you can do, it just all got. Let me
Steve, can you talk right tonight?
No.
Can you put together a sentence, please?
This basically paraphrased all down to the people saying, well, Joe Bonamassa says you shouldn't modding your guitars is dumb.
Right.
But what he's really said is like, effectively, like, don't buy a guitar already thinking like, oh, I'm going to buy this,
As a
this
modding
guitar
platform.
as a mod platform. If you already like everything the guitar does, you don't need to modify anything. Like if you're happy with a Jazzmaster stock, you don't need to buy a Mastery just because
Right.
everyone else has a Mastery.
I think you could, in my mind, you could file that under people who keep changing out the trim block and their Strat. Like,
Right.
I need to get a bigger brass block. I need to get a bigger brass block. I'm going to try a steel block now.
Well, like
and it's like, have you ever been happy with this guitar? Maybe it's not the block. Maybe it's the guitar.
Right.
That's the problem.
Or, even more so, like if you like the guitar as it is and you don't have anything like intentional that you're fixing,
right.
then you don't need to do anything.
But it's such like a if you're happy, you're not going to do anything. Are people out there who are happy with their guitar doing stuff? I think a few.
I think a lot of people are.
A few people are, but I mean,
I think a lot
of my counter argument is like messing with the guitar is part of the fun for a lot of
Sure.
people. It's not
Sure.
just like, oh, I have to have a guitar just so that I can play guitar, and if it's functional, then why would I mess with it? For a lot of people, messing with the guitar is a huge part of the hobby. And most of us, the vast majority of us, are doing this as a hobby. We're
Right.
never going to be playing professionally the way Joe is.
I think my favorite quote that you pulled was, there was a rumor that I was buying Gibson. It circulated around the internet, and I just go, how well off do you think I am? I play blues rock for a living. It's like a vow of poverty, and I'm like, how am I going to buy a guitar company?
If you want to turn people on like their opinion on Joe in a hurry, then you do the vow of poverty quote.
Yeah.
Like if people are defending him at all, it's like, oh, hey, you got to respect this guy. He's taking a vow of poverty, guys.
Yeah.
If you know anything about Joe, he's just got a pile of vintage Les Pauls. He's got, he's probably owned every Dumble that's ever been made.
I think on his like most recent
life.
tour, the cheapest seat available anywhere on any of his tour stops was like $130.
Yeah. But then like, I kind of get what he's saying too. You got to think about his perspective.
Right.
Where it's like, he's a musician that fills big venues.
Mm-hmm.
And if he's looking around at people that he might consider his contemporaries or his peers, he's looking at, P. Diddy or something like that. He's like, oh, there's another professional musician in this century that is making tons of money. That guy could probably afford to buy Gibson. I can't afford to buy Gibson. I'm only a multimillionaire.
Do we know what the buyout on Gibson, wasn't it like in the billions?
Probably.
Like low billions or close to billion?
I have no idea.
Was there a buyout or like the estimated value?
But he's probably looking at other people in his industry
that
do have a ton of money and could do stuff like that. It's like, but Joe could still do something and become an investor in Gibson.
Yeah, and I think
like a major investor.
I think that would have actually been
It's not like if I wanted to invest in Gibson, I can barely afford to buy a Gibson guitar. That's my level of investment.
When people said, oh, Joe Bonamassa should buy Gibson, like obviously, I was like, as a rational human being,
what that's like is like saying Harrison Ford should buy LucasArts because he's Indiana Jones.
Yeah, yeah.
It doesn't make any sense.
Not because he's Han Solo.
No, because he's Indiana Jones.
But the flip side.
Which character do you think would do a better job running LucasArts? Han Solo would just sell it first port he got to. Indiana Jones would lock that up in a museum.
How are either of those better situations?
I think most people would prefer to have the original trilogy
if it's locked up in a museum.
If
it's locked up in a museum, doesn't that mean nobody gets to enjoy it ever again?
Yeah, that means George can't go in there and fiddle with
stuff. But neither
anymore.
can anyone else.
Yeah, that preserves it forever.
You don't want Han Solo to fly around in LucasArts?
Gibson doesn't belong in Guitar Center. It belongs in a museum.
No, so what I actually was thinking about though was you see it a lot in sports where a former professional athlete that is like well known and like has like relatively goodwill with like the locale will become like a 1% investor and the face of the investment team. So that was a thing like in Los Angeles, Magic Johnson was like the face of of the Lakers, and he was like the face of a purchasing deal for the Los Angeles Dodgers. Derek Jeter somehow, even though he played for the New York Yankees, became like the face of a purchase for the Miami Marlins. Like you see this kind of stuff all the time.
And I imagine what that does is it drums up more support from people who also have big money but aren't public figures.
Right.
And they're like, oh, that guy's investing. I'm a fan of him. I want to get in on this.
Yeah. Well, it's the same reason
like if Joe said, guys, I'm going to start together a thing where I'm, investing in Gibson to have part ownership of it and be able to sit on the board and stuff like that. I need to have 100 other millionaires jump in with me.
Right.
He could probably make something like that happen.
Yeah. No. And that's exactly what I would imagine it comes down to.
Because
and also,
that's his main audience.
he becomes
millionaires.
and again, he also becomes the face of drumming up investments, where he's going and be like, look, like, here's my Gibson guitar collection. Clearly, I'm qualified to give advice on the direction that Gibson is running. Now, I realize like not everyone would agree with that. I don't know that I necessarily agree with that.
Sure,
but I'm saying like that is a pitch that he can make to put other potential investors, I am not.
I'm not a Joe fan or anything like that, but I can admit that he probably would have done a better job at the helm than the last CEO of Gibson, because at least he would kind of get what people like about Gibson versus trying to come up with some sort of futuristic turd.
Right.
With a bowling ball finish, So I guess that's been our takedown of Joe Bonamassa.
This time.
Oh, man. 60 cycle hum 1, Joe 0.
Bring it.
Roasted. I mean, there's no point in us like criticizing him as a musician. He's obviously a talented guitarist.
It just definitely seems like he's engaged in the same kind of marketing that we are also engaged in, but he has a much larger audience than we do.
Game recognized game, Joe. Game recognized game. I see exactly what you're doing.
Did that just become Joe Bonamassa 1, 60 cycle hum 1?
No, but I'm saying like I'm in the business of making content that I want people to click on.
Right.
Joe is doing the exact same thing. He's making content that he wants people to click on so that they remember that he exists, so that he stays in, their forethought. It's brand recognition. Mm-hmm. It's a reason why McDonald's runs commercials. Everyone knows McDonald's exists, but it's just brand recognition. They're like, we got to keep you on the tip of your brain, so you always McDonald's is just there a little bit, Yeah.
Joe Bonamassa, the McDonald's of musicians.
Steve said it, not me.
All right.
I agree with him. But...
Let's move on to our next ad. This was sent in by John Kaysen.
I mean, McDonald's delivers a consistent quality product every single time. You can't argue with that.
Yes.
You know exactly what you're getting when you walk into McDonald's.
I don't know if quality is... I know what you mean by
I said
quality.
consistent.
A consistent quality, not necessarily a high quality.
Yes. That's what I was
this
saying.
next ad was sent in by John Kaysen. It just says, good boy. Here's a neat truss rod cover for my 2012 Gibson SG Standard that I recently customized. So I guess they're selling the truss rod cover now.
Do we have a full grab? We don't have a full grab of the caption on there.
No, because I think... even originally, he just sent...
Yeah, he just screen grabbed what there was.
And posted to the group.
I mean, that's not the interesting part about this. The interesting part is that this truss rod cover, the original one, is balancing perfectly on the top of this good boy's head.
This would have been more impressive if it was balancing on his nose.
Yeah.
But then he might have tried to eat it.
You're risking the dog chewing it up.
Yeah. What other objects would you
What do you think this
think
is?
about?
You think this is I know it's a dog. Don't say it's a dog, but what kind of dog do you think this is? Some kind of lab?
Yeah, I was going to say it's some kind of retriever. I think it's a lab.
His hair's too short to be a retriever, Steve.
You just said it was a lab.
Is that a type of retriever?
Yeah, there's the
All
Labrador Retriever and the Golden Retriever. You're thinking of the Golden Retriever, which is typically long hair. Also, people can cut their dog's hairs, Ryan.
I know, but a Golden Retriever with his haircut looks way different than
I think this is like a brown lab.
Looks golden to me.
Fine, it's a golden lab.
I don't know what kind of dog this is. I don't know stuff about dogs. I just know that this is a cute ad, and this is a great way to get attention
What other
on Reverb.
What other guitar items would you want to put on a dog's head? Would you put a pedal on a dog's head?
If I could get a pedal to balance on a dog's head for a picture, I would super do that.
You should get your brother's dog over here. It's right over there.
He's too hyper. I don't think I could balance anything on his head. Pickups, you could balance pickups on there. If you got some nice like gravity picks or expensive picks that people sell, balance that on a dog's nose.
Put a stone pick on there.
You know, it would be cute balancing stuff on a turtle. Make a shot with a turtle. Not as cute as a good boy.
No. Also, like depending on the shape of the shell, it could be difficult.
That's true. I mean, you get a box turtle that's got those spikes, and you're just getting like a tripod going on 3 spikes, and then that's real balance right there.
Yeah.
You could put like a big muff on top of a turtle, and it's not going to rock if it's got like those spikes on it.
Oh, that seems like borderline cruelty
You
to put a pedal that big on an animal that small.
You could put what kind of how big turtles get, Steve?
Box turtles are like this big. They're not that big.
It does. Forget about box turtles. It could be any turtle. You could put an amplifier on one of those Galapagos turtles at the zoo.
Do people have those as pets?
Probably. There's rich people out there, dude, that have everything as pets.
Joe Bonamassa probably has a Galapagos tortoise as a pet.
Probably does. He's waiting for it to die so he can make a pit guard out of it.
That's dark.
You get a Galapagos turtle. You can stick an amp on there, and the only thing that's going to make it fall off is when that Galapagos turtle gets horny and tries to bone down with another turtle, because they do that all the time. When you go to the San Diego Zoo, you go by the Galapagos turtles. If they ain't boning, something's wrong. Those turtles are sick. If they are not getting it on, I'm right.
I usually don't. I don't like how
that's
like a dead end down there, so I usually try to avoid the turtle.
It is a dead end down there. Like, you have to. I feel like they're kind of hiding it because they know that the turtles are.
You walk past the turtles, and then like you're like past the turtles, and then there's crocodiles. You're like, oh, how do I get out of here? Oh crap, I gotta walk by those turtles again.
If you YouTube Galapagos turtles San Diego Zoo, I'm betting you 3/4 of the videos are gonna be those turtles boning down hard. They are horn dogs over there, and they're old too. They're all like 140 years old.
Yeah.
Can you imagine having a libido like that when you're 140?
No, I can't. I can't imagine being 140.
I'm just saying, Joe's gonna have to wait a long time till that turtle dies.
He just has to get an old one,
and he
has to get one that's like 135.
The thing is, like, I don't think anyone's actually seen a turtle die. I think they just keep going.
They just find the empty shells. Huh? This turtle must have died.
That's why they get
turtles don't die; they just get raptured.
That's why they get endangered. When the Earth was born into existence, it came into existence with its maximum amount of turtles,
a finite number,
and like they've just been dying off ever since as people like try to hunt them and eat them. And if you just leave the turtles alone, we'll have a consistent amount of turtles for the rest of history.
Oh my gosh!
You got to make a note about the turtles, Steve.
No.
Do you have anything else to say about this?
I have nothing else to say about this good boy.
You've got a pet cat. You want to do any?
I have 2 cats.
You want to do any reverb photos with your cats?
Probably should. Maybe
you have 2 cats.
Maybe that's why my green child isn't selling. Is I need to put some cats in the picture.
I've only got goldfish right now. It's hard to take a
in
photo
your pond?
with those guys. Yeah.
Yeah. You gotta put the pedal out there. Wait till the skunk comes back, and then take the picture.
Yeah, I had a skunk in my yard the other night. I probably have a skunk in my yard every night.
Yeah.
I just saw it. I just saw it this time.
Have you noticed your number of goldfish declining?
I mean, a bird comes and takes them every now and then, but the skunks don't go for the fish.
What do they go for?
They come and drink the water, and they like to dig around for grubs and stuff in the lawn. Yeah, they're skunks aren't gonna get in the water to get a fish.
Why not? Give me that strap.
Oh, are we doing sponsorship?
The other one.
The strap.
The other one. This is the D'Addario Auto Lock strap. This strap has changed my life.
You've been loving your strap, haven't you?
Yeah, this is great. Well, you just put like a video on Instagram of how easy it is to throw this on. Don't grab the Harley band, the one guitar we've not been able to use it on.
Look how quick this is.
Boom.
That was actually a little bit slow too, because it's a little bit of tight fit on this one. Just
Boom.
right on there, comes right off.
Yeah, this is a great product. This was designed by Ned Steinberger, like some of their other products, and I keep mine in my backpack, the one I was talking about earlier, specifically because it's a universal and it's a strap lock, which means like I keep it in there because I never know if someone's going to be like, oh, hey, don't play your bass. I've actually had a problem with my Eastwood bass in our new place. It's picking up like a crazy digital noise.
Oh, really?
So I've been playing a different bass that doesn't do that.
Bring it back here. I'll play with it.
I'm still going to play it.
Oh, okay.
Oh, do you want it for videos? I'll bring it
No,
back.
I don't. I'm not going to play bass in videos. Are you kidding me?
Anyway, so this is perfect because I can use it for anything, and it just snaps on, snaps off. It's just in my bag.
And it's a cool, comfortable strap.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan.
Well, you have the padded one. I have the seatbelt one.
But that one's
The
padded
seatbelt's
too, right?
No, it's not padded, but it's a softer seatbelt.
Yeah.
It's a little thicker than like a mono strap, so
But
it's nice.
Not even the padding, because I don't own any other padded straps. I've never been
Yeah.
like, I need a padded strap. I just like that it's that slippery nylon. I like a strap that can slide on my shirt and not get bound up on stuff, because I want to be a performer with my guitar. I want to move it around. I don't want it to be stuck in one place. It's a prop for me
Right.
as well as an instrument, you know?
Yeah.
I want to be able to move around with the thing, and these sliding nylon straps are really the way to get that. So
Yeah.
I'm stoked that they went with that kind of material instead of doing some kind of sticky suede or something.
Yeah. This episode is also brought to you by Squatch Design Co.
That's true.
They make these lovely wooden pedal boards. They're very high quality. They're actually made by Dan Dolan of Dan Dolan Customs. On this
This
run.
is like a original version. The
Yeah.
newer ones, apparently, people are saying they're prettier. People are saying they're better.
They're definitely not green.
They're different. Yeah, well, I put these sticky pads on there that turned mine green.
They have a new logo, which is cool. The new logo
Yeah.
is cool. But these are the way these are made is they make a run of them and they put them up for sale. And that's it.
Yep.
And that means they're a little cheaper than what you would get from like a custom shop, but you can find something that's really good looking off the shelf, and they use like locally sourced wood, so you're not stuck like waiting around months and months for some wood that's super hard to get. You're gonna see what you want, you're gonna order it, and then what you order is what's gonna show up.
You're not waiting for them to cut wood. You're not waiting for them to glue wood together. You're not waiting for the clear coat to set. When you order a board, it's already made. It's literally the one in the picture. That's the one that shows up days later after they ship it to you. You don't have to wait months anymore. They're just making wood boards and popping them out over there.
Yep. So I believe it's squatchdesignco.com, or
Yep.
maybe it's squatchdesign.com.
Go check them out.
All right. This next topic was sent to us by Joe Braga from the group, and I will find it right now.
You didn't screen grab it?
No,
We're flying by the seat of our pants here.
it shouldn't be too hard to find.
I have faith in you, Steve.
She asked, "Is there such a thing as a pedal exchange program? Equal or same value kind of swap when you don't have local gear swap meets and guitar/gear festivals? Where I live is musicians' no man's land of DJ EDM, Miami. So live music isn't supported here, let alone the stuff I hear you guys on the West have. Uber jelly."
I had no idea she was in Miami.
Yeah, neither did I. Anyone know of a gear or pedal swap program for when you can't sell pedals as fast as you'd like to try new ones?
I mean, there's the wheel pedals.
Yeah,
Well,
so
not anymore. It's gone. We discontinued that.
So I think like I don't know if there's anything like this online. I think it's kind of tricky because everyone would have to be in kind of like a database situation.
I think there is like a Reddit group where people swap.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Let me see if I can find that real quick. But
there's a lot of like neat little things on crevices on Reddit that you kind of like get into and you're like, huh,
Oops.
that's a thing.
My internet's slow right now. I might not be able to find it.
But this does remind me at least a little bit of what we were doing with Wheel of Pedals, though that is a little more random. And in turn, it just ended up being like a lot of people, because I think when you're in a face-to-face situation for like where there's going to be a gear swap, you can like load up a pedal board with everything you're willing to part with, and you go there with your whole board, and so everyone else is going to do the same. And you're like, oh, I got this, JHS delay and I want to try the Walrus delay. You want to trade guy who has a Walrus delay and wants something else? And, you can swap stuff around that way. But with the Wheel of Pedals, it was a little more random and everyone was afraid of getting the roadkill.
Even though we said we'd help people out if they got the roadkill.
The person who got the roadkill, I think, ended up getting like 3 pedals and a shirt
and a ton of
and
crap.
some cables.
Probably a strap and stuff too.
Yeah.
Yeah, they got hooked up. But yeah, I don't know, like whenever I look at the concept of like a pedal swap sort of thing, it just feels like it gets too complicated to me, because it's like everything is worth different amounts.
Yeah.
And if you want something else, sell the thing you have and use the money to buy the thing you want.
Well, and I think that happens a lot too, is because there was one a few months ago in San Diego. I didn't go to it, but I know the Tone Jerks went to it and they bought some stuff. And so I think there are people who are going in and they're, everyone's got their board of stuff they want to sell. And so people are walking around going like, oh, you're selling that? Well, would you be willing to trade for this other thing?
Sure.
Or, you do a three-way where you sell your pedal to somebody for cash, then you take that cash and buy the pedal that you wanted to swap it for.
I think
but it's all instantaneous.
I think in the terms of like a physical meeting sort of thing where everyone's like in a swap meet, garage sale sort of environment. I think that's fun. And I think that works. But you got to have a big enough community in a city for that to happen. And it doesn't sound like that's the scene in Miami. I was thinking more along the lines of like if there was like a pedal swap service online or a group or something like that. It just seems like it's such a narrow audience. Like,
right.
I've got this thing who wants to trade for this other specific thing that I want. Like, I feel like for it to be successful, you'd have to be closer to the wheel of pedals where it's like, I want to get rid of this. I'll accept almost anything that's worth close to the value. Otherwise it's just, I can't imagine there being enough momentum behind something like that for it to be worthwhile.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe that's just me being cynical. I don't know. And also, it's just like once you figure out how to sell things online, you just sell the thing that you have and you buy the thing that you want. It's easy.
I mean, that is another way to look at it.
Yeah. I mean, the real way to actually do this is to have like actual friends who collect pedals and have the relationship. Like, I feel like with you, I could be like, oh, you've got that. You want this? I'll trade you. And it would be a really easy arrangement for us.
Well, you could even do that. Like, you could legitimately do that in our group on Facebook.
Sure.
I think people could do that. I think it's an untapped kind of thing. I'm sure there are groups that are specialized for it. I think, one of the issues with doing it online is there's always a little danger that someone's going to jump in and like be like really sketchy about it. But,
I mean, every now and then someone's like orchestrated a deal with someone on the group, and I've had them, like one of the parties, message me and be like, hey, do you know this dude? I'm about to do a deal. Do you know like, if he has like any sort of clout here or any sort of history or anything like that? I just want to make sure people know who this is before I mail something to them and exchange money and things like that. And I mean, that's kind of the benefit of being in a well-built online community.
Right. I would consider, given the current size of our group,
he's making a consideration,
being willing to broker trades. So both parties send me the pedal, and then I forward it on to the destination.
This is too complicated.
Well, that way, like, if I receive the pedal from one side, I don't receive the pedal from the other side.
I mean, that's basically what Reverb does. You just don't send it to them. They just hold the payment until you send them shipping information.
Right.
They're brokering a sale between two people.
Yeah.
And then taking a fee. I got myself in trouble a few months back. I sold something on Reverb.
And you didn't ship it?
No, I shipped it, and then I got home and I was looking around for the receipt, and I think I literally crumpled up the receipt as walking out the post office and threw it in the trash.
Sucker.
So I'm like, oh my gosh, I have no way to prove that I shipped this. And it would be on the person receiving it to be like, oh, I got it, to tell Reverb to send me the money. So I drove back to the post office, and I know people are going to mock me for driving to the post office. I know that you can arrange direct pickup stuff now. I don't do that. I like to go to the post office. I'm a Luddite.
I go to the post office to drop things off, but I buy my postage online, Ryan. It's cheaper. Save like $1.
So anyways, I go back to the post office, and I go back to the person that I checked out with, and I was like, I'm so sorry. I threw away my receipt, and I need it. Can you pull it up? And he was like, well, let's look through every transaction I've done in the last half hour.
Yeah.
I was like, there's me. That's me. And thankfully, he was able to save my ass. So thanks, post office guy. He saved my ass months ago.
All right, you want to do some housekeeping?
Yeah, let's housekeep this thing.
All right, this week we have one person joining us, supporting the show through our Patreon, patreon.com/60cyclehumcast, and that person is Grant Wilson.
This is a Grant Wilson episode. We got beer from him, we got a guitar from him, and now he's patronizing us.
Patronizing us?
Mm-hmm.
So Grant is now supporting the show on the bragging rights level, which is ridiculous. The $25 level, and I think... right now, he is the only person who has bragging rights.
Yeah.
So congrats, Grant. You are better than everyone else.
Basically, what Grant Wilson is doing in between the Patreonage and sending us this beer is he's supporting us basically like $1 a day. He is adopted podcasters as like his adopted like
Right.
so like a sponsor a child program.
Oh my gosh.
Like for $1 a day, guys, you could make sure that a podcaster has beer and burritos in his belly and has the strength to continue on to produce another episode next week. Just $1 a day, guys.
Just $1 a day. Anyway, if you
We should send a picture of ourselves to Grant for him to put on his fridge.
Yes. It doesn't have to be $1 a day. It can be $1 a month,
$1 a year.
$5 a month.
I don't
you know,
care.
whatever. We've got multiple tiers, and we'd love to get support from you guys to help make the show, help send Ryan to Germany and Summer NAMM.
No, the Germany thing is covered by the sponsors.
Shut up, Ryan. Trying
Although
to justify our existence
I
here.
could take a salary out of that to support my family while I'm
That's
gone
true.
for a week making content.
That is true.
That's something we'll have to discuss, but I probably shouldn't do that. But anyways, I mean the Patreons are paying my way to go to Nashville to Summer NAMM, which is a huge deal. I'm planning on making somewhere between 20 and 30 videos out there.
For Summer NAMM?
For Summer NAMM.
Jeez.
I know. I'm going to haul ass to get as much content as I can.
Huge mistake.
I'm going to be working my butt off.
I know.
And it's like,
Sounds like a rookie move.
it's my second time. It's
I know,
probably
that's
my
why.
7th NAMM.
You should know better.
But I'm going to stretch it out. I'm not going to publish everything all at once. I'm looking at
Oh,
like,
you're going
I'm
to do
gonna
the Henning game.
I'm going to do the Henning gang. But it like I'm not sure I could pull that kind of money out of my bank account to do that for myself.
Right.
The Patreon supporting us makes that sort of thing possible. Yeah. Anytime if we get pedals made, like the 50/50, it's because we have money sitting in an account thanks to the Patreons.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just the reality of it. You know, when I got the walls built back here to make the garage presentable as a studio for us, that was Patreon.
All right. You can
When
list.
I bought
you can
this-
list. You know what, Ryan? You can list other things next episode.
Okay. This camera that's recording us, Patreon money.
Point being, the money that you guys send goes back into the show.
Absolutely.
And we super appreciate the support we get from everybody. This last ad was sent by Zachary Ryan Saucier. It's a Zenon Audition ZES-70T 1965 vintage Japanese guitar with original case. Guitar is in great shape. Missing tremolo bar replaced with a letter opener. Missing high E machine head bushing replaced with non-original. Why didn't you replace that with a letter opener?
I know, right?
One pickup works. The troggle push buttons need attention. Comes with original case. I've never seen a troggle push button. Do your research. The pickups are great. The neck is thick baseball bat, not thin baseball bat. Cool vintage Japanese guitar. YouTube for other demos. This is really similar. A really similar control situation to that Gaia Tone.
Yeah.
That you purchased.
Probably made in the same factory, honestly.
Yeah, it's a different pickguard design. I think different body shape.
The thing I really, definitely different pickguard and body shape. But the thing I really want to talk about is this letter opener whammy bar.
Yeah.
A letter opener, this style letter opener is basically a sword you keep in your office drawer. Like it is a stabby, pointy
This is like
dagger.
This type of letter opener has been the murder weapon on at least 7 different episodes of Law and Order.
Exactly. It is the most obvious, like non-knife murder weapon in your house. And this person has turned this pointy thing into a whammy bar, and I'm kind of in love with it.
Oh my god! Of all of the things to turn into a whammy bar, is a letter opener the best? I mean, I guess if you really only have the point, you could like Dremel that a little soft.
Oh yeah, you could definitely soften up the end and make it so that you're not going to stab it straight
What
through
other
your
kind of
hand when you're
household
reaching for it?
objects
we're in
could
a
you turn into a whammy bar?
We're in the garage right now, and my workbench is
I'm
across from us.
I'm definitely thinking screwdrivers.
You get a big long screwdriver. You know, any sort of like file or chisel or anything like that is an obvious choice. I've got a big meat cleaver on the wall over there. I've thought about turning that into a control plate or a
Oh, that'd be
pickguard
cool. What about
material.
just like why a letter opener? Why not like a butter knife?
Yeah, like a cool like kitchen knife or something like that, or like a big like soup spoon. A soup
Ooh,
spoon would be
soup
fun.
spoon would be fun.
You get a lot of mass on the end of it. You have the spoon side as the part that you grab,
Right.
and it's just got a lot of mass, and you can really work it around. You know, like a weeder tool for your garden. That would make a great whammy bar.
Yeah. Or I don't know, like just go get
anything long, you know?
Yeah, anything long.
Anything long you can drill a hole through.
Wish.com.
Anything long.
All right. This week's song.
Are we done?
I think
you
so.
You didn't have anything else to say about that?
No.
All right. Take us out of here, Steve.
This week's song was sent by Will LaHue.
I don't know if he will. He might LaHue.
He says... Loading.
I've been LaHuing all my new stuff that I get.
I know.
I will LaHue.
Oh, here we go. I recorded this with a couple hours of free time I had this weekend. The amp sounds are coming from the Dr. Z model on the HX Stomp. Effects used on the... This doesn't even make sense. Effects used on the clean parts are the Binford 6100.
There's some clean stuff in there.
Okay. The DoD Rubberneck and the Boss Terror Echo. All of the dirt is coming from a Like My Pedals Asago, stacked with a Martial Law, also from Like My Pedals. The bass line was played through my lawsuit era Japanese P-bass copy through a Phase 90. This song is called Soupy Deuce.
Maybe there's a joke in here and we're about to hear this and realize that there are no clean parts.
Maybe.
In this song.
All right. Hope you guys enjoyed the episode. Enjoy the song and...
Stay grounded.
Stay grounded.